he just got a statement from his bank, and he just looked to see that the final numbers were right. And then it was something he normally doesn't do. He started to read, and it said that on his credit card, the interest rate went to 45%.
Oh, God.
45.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Actually, 45 and a half.
And that's legal?
Did I hear that correctly? Hello?
Yeah.
I think the phone was breaking up. Was that a 4 before the 5, or was that a 3 or a 2?
Yeah. 45 and a half.
Oh,
wow.
Loan sharking is illegal, right?
Oh, no. The banks have always been loan sharks. They just get mad when the mafia cut in on their action. And the banks don't break legs; they just take your house.
Right.
Wow.
So, any other questions there from Hawaii, or is it okay if I move to another call?
That's good. Thanks, Reg. I appreciate it. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate all your hard work, you guys.
Well, thank you.
Have a good evening.
Got it.
Aloha.
All right, we're going to go to a Skype call real quick here. All right, I guess that person hung up. All right, if anyone else wants to ask Bob Chapman a question, I have just opened the lines, so the number is 347-324-3704. He will be on with us for the next few minutes here. And so if you do have a question for Mr. Chapman, now would be a good time to call in. Unfortunately, I'm not able to take any questions from the chat room right now. So if you want to call in and ask your question, now's a great time to do that, because if you try to call in on Alex Jones, for example, the lines are backed up. I mean, all the months I've tried to call in on Fridays to talk to Mr. Chapman, you're not getting through because the lines are so busy. So now's your opportunity.
I'm sorry about that. There's a question in the chat room. You Can't Eat Gold wants to know, will gold be confiscated by the government? What are the chances of that happening?
Well, first of all, people can eat gold. They do. I know that's unusual, but they do. And secondly, the government's not going to confiscate gold. They're not going to bother with it. They're more interested in trying to confiscate people's weapons. But to go full circle on your question, I think I've said earlier in the program that it's important that you have dehydrated and freeze-dried foods, and that you have a water filter and a method of defending your family. And before you even think about gold or anything else, that's what you should do first.
Couldn't agree more. Definitely. I've been trying to tell people that for the longest, really. Food, water, defense. I don't care if it's a bow and arrow or a compound bow.
Yeah, anything better than a stone like what most people have all over the world. You still see them throwing rocks today.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah, but Mr. Chapman, Reggie and I, we're brothers in guns, meaning that we have the same Mossberg. I don't know if you think Mossberg is among the upper echelon for trying to protect your family in a close-range setting.
Well, I think the Mossberg shotgun is a very good weapon, and I have several of them, especially the riot gun variety, and I have Winchester Defenders as well, which they don't manufacture anymore, and I have a bunch of other things.
Right, and you probably heard about a couple of states now have actually started banning gun shows.
Yeah, Texas is.
And Tennessee followed up the very next day, actually.
Well, good for them. They'll just force people to go to other places, and the gun shows will die because the shows are being run by people who do what the government tell them to do, and it's not illegal for you to sell your gun to somebody else. There's no federal law against that, and they're trying to stop it. I mean, every weapon that I have is unregistered, and I got a lot of them.
Yeah, I can definitely recommend the Mossberg 500. It was my first gun ever. I'm not a gun fanatic or anything. I don't know a lot about guns, but I bought one for the first time last year, And I got to say, I want some more guns. In fact, I'm going to get another Mossberg 500, a longer barrel one, because right now I only have an 18-inch one. And I can definitely say that I highly recommend the Mossberg 500 for defense. You can use it for hunting, other things.
They used to make a 20 gauge as well, which is good for women and for light, game, such as deer and rabbits and things like that. And they make a very good 22 caliber rifle as well.
I wonder if they make a 30-06.
I really don't know. I can't answer that. I've never seen that, so probably not. I think the best 30-06 I've ever fired was the Browning. They call it the Browning automatic, but of course it's not automatic. And it's probably got the best sighting and the least recoil. As you know, if you miss in the first shot, whatever you're shooting at, you want to be able to get your second one lined up quickly. And if you get a hard kick, it costs you 2 or 3 seconds. And so for hunting, that Browning it's in a 308 caliber is the best one. Although they make other calibers, but for years I fired just about everything, and all the way from machine guns and when I was in the military and stuff like that. And so I know a lot about weapons, muzzle velocities, everything else. And so you've got a real gun nut here.
Well, I think maybe we have a few more gun nuts here. I'm going to jump back to the phones. I put the word out that I'm taking calls, and I got a full screen again here. So let me go to the 703 area code in Northern Virginia. Go ahead.
Hello, A Proof. This is AABBCC. And
All right.
I just want to throw a couple of questions out there, and I'll get off and listen. But
All right.
The first one was about the 401ks. I wonder what Bob thinks about that. If we ought to, digit, take the penalties and buy gold and silver, or is it okay to leave it in the 401k, just put it into precious metals, or what do you think about that? And then
Well, first of all,
go ahead.
if you've got a free 401k, which means you've been fired or you've been laid off, nowadays there's not much difference, then you can self-administer, and you can roll it into an IRA and buy what you want. The commentary and hearings that will go on for a month by the government in relation to pensions and things such as 401ks, Roths, and IRAs, that commentary will last a month. And what they're proposing is to offer annuities backed by government treasuries and agency bonds. And, of course, the government's bankrupt.
Right.
So essentially what they're looking to do is steal everybody's retirement. That's really what they're after.
Exactly.
And I've been on the lookout for this for the last year and a half, and here they are. Now, they're having terrible, terrible political problems. They may back off on this. That is possible. And if I was them, I would. But if they don't back off on it, they'll probably go to a voluntary program. And a voluntary program means that it's only going to be a short time before it's mandatory. You got to think like a criminal if you want to think like a politician, because most of them are criminals.
Right.
And so you got to get inside their heads, and this is the way that will go. But I wouldn't be in a hurry to make a move until I see what they're going to do. Whether to go to a mandatory program immediately, they'd have a revolution on their hands. So they'll try to slip it to the public. And, of course, the pension plans, you can't get your money out. The 401ks, if you're working, you can't get your money out unless you can borrow. And some plans will allow you to borrow 20%. The most I've seen is 70%. The government, if they do that, is planning to use the investments inside of those plans as collateral, guaranteeing those bonds that they're issuing. And of course the debt is exponential. It increases every second. And nobody's buying enough paper to do it. I mean, the numbers came in today, and they're all lies. And that's why we got to get rid of the Fed. And then along with it, we got to get rid of executive orders and campaign contributions and lobbying. Very, very important. This election today could turn this all around, and I hope it does.